Christian soldiers marching as to war, with the cross of Jesus going on before.
Hey, my beloved friends. Today I want to share with you a news story that's come from Mint, or livemint.com. It's a news site. It's all about ISIS-linked militants butcher 70 Christians in the Congo. Now, global leaders are being urged to act. Now, we don't hear enough about this, but Christians are being slaughtered around the world by the thousands every single year. But we don't see the mainstream media carry on about it. We don't see that even mentioned. But we see plenty about the Jews being attacked by the Muslims, but the Christians being slaughtered by Muslims, no. We don't hear a word about it. So let's just get into this story. 70 Christians were beheaded by ISIS-linked militants in the DRC on February 13. The attackers from the Allied Democratic Forces rounded up victims before executing them inside a church. Now, the massacre has outraged and calls for global action. Now, you can see the picture there of the bodies being taken away and put into a mass grave by the Red Cross. Now, 70 Christians were brutally beheaded with machetes by Islamist militants in the Democratic Republic of Congo, or the DRC, on February 13, according to Open Doors. I'll have a link to Open Doors in the description. Now, an organisation monitoring terrorism and persecution. Now, the attackers, members of the Allied Democratic Forces, the ADF, there's nothing democratic about them, because they're an affiliate of Islamic State, or ISIS, rounded up the victims from Libero district before executing them inside a Protestant church in Kasanga. Now, witnesses reported, as per the report, that the rebels shouted, "Get out, get out," as they forced the Christians from their homes. It pains my heart so much that Christians have to go through this around the world. Now, following the attack, many Christians fled the region seeking safety. Mahindo Mzunzi, director of the Combo Primary School, stated that churches, schools and health centres already shut down due to the deteriorating security situation there. Now, we had to move all activities towards Vunying, Mzunzi said. Families were unable to retrieve or bury their dead for days due to the ongoing insecurity. How sad is that? You can't even retrieve your family's bodies, knowing that they've been brutally slaughtered by Islamists. A church elder from the CECA 20 church expressed the community's despair. "We don't know what to do or how to pray. We've had enough of massacres. May God's will alone be done." Now, despite the scale of the atrocity, the massacres have received little international media attention. Open Doors has condemned the attack and urged global action. But where's the mainstream media? They don't care about Christians. We've seen that. They can go out and they promote, even saying things like OMG themselves or JC in a blasphemous term. They don't care. Now, Open Doors strongly condemns this heinous act of violence against civilians and calls upon civil societies, governments and international organisations to prioritise civilian protection in the eastern DRC, said John Samuel, a legal expert for Open Doors in the sub-Saharan Africa. He highlighted the lack of accountability for such acts of terror. The violence takes place in a context of impunity, where almost no one is held accountable. We're starting to see that here in Australia, in the UK, everywhere, where there is violent protests, there is violence on the streets. Certain groups are not allowed to be on the streets, like in Melbourne every Sunday. But the police and the government do nothing about it. There is no accountability. Now, this massacre is a clear indicator of widespread human rights violations against civilians and vulnerable communities, often targeting Christians, perpetrated by the ADF, an Islamic State affiliate. We all know what the Islamic State does. Now, Tristan Azbaj, Hungary's State Secretary for the Aid of Persecuted Christians, expressed his horror on social media, horrified to learn about the 70 Christian martyrs beheaded by terrorists in a church. Hungary stands in solidarity with the persecuted Christians. The world needs to recognise and act against Christian persecution. And that's his post that he put on X there. Now, an American political commentator, Liz Wheeler, also called out the lack of media coverage. 70 Christian men and women and children were beheaded because they're Christian. Their decapitated bodies were left in a church because they're Christian. The terrorists who murdered them have ties to ISIS and Islam. Mainstream media, where's your outrage? Governments, where's your outrage? Are you silent because they're Christians? And I think that's exactly where it stands. The mainstream media says that because, or doesn't say that because to them, oh, it's only Christians. It's not Jews. It's not LGBTI, rainbow mob or anything like that. It's only Christians, the most persecuted mob in all of history. So please, my friends, pray for the families of these people, the families that are left from these 70 Christian men, women, and children who were beheaded just because they were Christian, and this was done to them in a holy church. It's just absolutely disgraceful. I'm going to be doing some more videos on this topic about Christians being attacked and killed and slaughtered around the world every year. I'll give you some facts and figures from Open Doors organisation in the next video I do. But thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to pray for these people, and if you can, support Open Doors, because they are one of the only organisations that are getting us the information we need of what is really happening, because none of the other mainstream media outlets could care less. God bless you all, my friends. Remember, I love you all, but He will always love you so much more.
Standing strong through every storm, loving you with all my heart, living pure, upright and warm.